When thinking of modern Call of Duty games, a very important question comes to mind about its quality. Vanguard is a game so widely hated and borderline insulting that I didn't even feel the need to talk about it. Cold War was the definition of mediocrity squeezed into a video game, but Modern Warfare 2019 was a game that kind of broke the mold that defined modern Call of Duties. It was unique, it was fresh, which makes little sense if you account for the name literally being copied from a game in the same franchise, but here's the difference between Modern Warfare 2019 and the others. They had a vision for it, and they executed it. The amount of passion that they showed was incredible, but the question I intend to answer is this. Did Infinity Ward give the same level of passion and heart to the sequel? Is Modern Warfare 2 bad? I just want to preface this by saying the game just came out, like yesterday, so take this video with a grain of salt. This is meant to be more of what I do and don't like about this game from my first impressions. So honestly, there's no better way to start than with multiplayer, which has some pretty cool innovations compared to some previous Call of Duties. Firstly, the kill streaks in this game just look and feel incredible. Any explosion will just put you in awe, even if it's landing right on top of you. To match this, the gunplay is so smooth. Every gun feels like it was made by an Iranian child the day before it was put in your hands. There are some serious gun modeling and animation wizards at Infinity Ward because let me tell you, they just give everything into these weapons. Just look at some of these inspecs. The models, the animation, and the sound design is just so satisfying to watch. My favorite by far has to be the Deagle. I mean, come on. That's badass, man. And I'm looking forward to having the best mastery camos known to man put on them. Which brings me to my next highlight, the Gunsmith. This thing is complex and a little confusing, but I think it will have a huge impact on how people play the game. At least for the first few months, and here's why. In order to get all the attachments on one gun, you have to use several other guns in order to unlock them. Meaning if Mr. Johnny Meta wants to use what's best in the game and never even try anything else, he's going to have a hard time doing that with mismatched attachments. It gets a little muddled talking about the different receivers and just a gun family tree in general, but just start using guns in the tree to unlock more attachments. This also carries over to the camos, as each gun will have a specific camo tied to it, and once you unlock that one camo, all guns can now use it. Basically, all you gotta know is that you gotta use guns to unlock other guns, camos, and attachments. Before I move on, let's take a look at these mastery camos. They are absolutely stunning, and what I consider to be the gold standard, pun intended, for what all mastery camos should look like. You know, except Orion, because this camo looks awesome, don't get me wrong, but why doesn't it move? This beautiful unlock would be better than any other dark matter-like camo, but it just doesn't move for some reason. If it's for realism, get a fucking grip. The last game in the franchise had Godzilla and King Kong in it. I don't want to hear about it. Anyway, let's move on to something else, like the new additions and the other parts of your loadout. By far the coolest thing in the game is the drill charge, a throwable lethal that will bury itself into the surface it lands on and pop a grenade onto the other side. This baby is just perfect for taking out people who are on the objective or even just camping in an unknown spot. Also, a quick side note, campers trying to rebrand themselves as sentinels feels like the same way that pedophiles want to be known as maps. Like, bro, fucking no. A little quirk of the drill charge is that when thrown at a player, it will stick to them, latch onto their body like a tick, and rip them apart from the inside out. It's fucking amazing. Another cool addition is the shock stick, which can be thrown and immediately activate to cover a small area in electricity that will shock any enemy that goes near it, causing them to be slowed and shoot their gun uncontrollably, which is just a great idea. You can also stick someone with it to just make them a walking alarm clock, you know, if you can pull it off. Let's see, what else? The tactical camera is great. Its use is actually a lot more, well, useful than I thought it would be. You place it on a surface and has an automatic detection notification if it sees anything, as well as, you know, pinging the enemy. It's like Valk from Siege, except honestly just way better. It's really good to use on objective game modes, and I see myself using it quite a lot, actually. Everything else in your kit is pretty normal by COD standards, so it's not really worth talking about. You know, other than the perk system. Oh boy, that fucking perk system. Like communism, it sure does look good on paper, but man, it sucks balls in practice. The idea is this. Everybody gets 4 perks now instead of 3, but you only get 2 specific perks on spawn, and the other 2 during the match. Also, those 2 perks being specific based on how good the developers thought they would be. And honestly, it's pretty cool. This can lead to someone having to earn their ghost or sleight of hand just by doing well in the match. Except, that's not how it works. That would be the correct way to handle a system like this, where the individual player could earn their perk faster than others, making them more effective earlier in the match. But the actual way they set this perk system up is that every player gets the new perks at the same exact time. Everyone on the map. It's not based on how well you're doing. You can't speed it up in any way to get yours before another person. It's just everyone gets it at the exact same time. Infinity Ward. Why? This makes the system you put in place completely useless and makes the games feel just a little bit different halfway through the match. It's a classic philosophy.
And when everyone's super, no one will be.
When everyone gets perks at the same time in the match, it makes no fucking difference. At this point, just let me choose 4 perks at the start. It achieves the exact same thing just earlier in the match. On to movement and maps, it's honestly really fun to just move in this game. The meshing of sliding and dolphin diving is just genius and incredibly fun. I really missed dolphin diving, but sliding had some really good uses too. So the greatest idea is to just blend the best of 2 worlds. Plus it gets rid of an exploit from the first game. Fantastic. As for maps, I think this is the area that's way better than the 2019 game. I mean, sure, not all of them are good, but a lot of them are just playable. Actually enjoyable to just sit down and play. I love Shoot House a lot, but one map cannot carry an entire multiplayer for too long. It'll get stale. But in this game, Bagra Fortress, Hotel, Raceway, Asilo, Zark, and that one Mexican map that I can't pronounce are all great with some freeing environments along with up-close, fast-paced gameplay. Zark is especially a favorite of mine, not just for layout, but also scenery and mechanics, as it's the only map in the base game where you can swim. But every COD game has its stinkers. Embassy has a few layout problems, but it's overall just kind of a meh map. It's the border crossing map, and Tarek, I don't know, where I have most of the issues. Oh yeah, man, I love playing LA Traffic Simulator and the Warzone 2 beta map. Seriously, one of these maps is just a straight line with so much garbage in the way, and the other is just a barren wasteland with too much space. It's like the worst of both extremes on 2 different maps. Also, look at some of the design elements on Tarek. Why is this here? Why do we need to put more camping space on a map like this? All the maps have an issue too, which is too much spawn space. It takes too damn long to get where anything is happening on all of these maps. I have a theory that tac sprint only exists to make getting through these long spawns easier. Like they fucked up the map making so much they decided to get around it with a new feature. I don't know, seems to have worked out, I guess. There also seems to be no party modes in this game, which is really disappointing because the old Modern Warfares were a staple with Infected. To have it ripped away just kind of feels hollow looking at the game mode screen. On top of that, hardcore is just not in the game. Unless I'm stupid, hardcore is just flat out not here. What? What? Hardcore is such an established genre of game mode that's honestly impressive this game launched with none of them. My hope is that they'll come out later with a content update, but holy cow, it's confusing that they just straight up didn't add hardcore to this game. My thoughts on the multiplayer are pretty great, honestly. I'm looking forward to playing around with this new toy box that Infinity Ward just dropped in my lap. Because that's honestly what the multiplayer feels like, an excuse to have fun. When you boil it down, there are always going to be problems with every multiplayer, because trying new things is about throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks, and sometimes things fall, pretty hard. And yeah, they brought back other problems like some map design flaws, or that stupid minimap compass bullshit, but the good things make me very excited. I'm going to give the multiplayer a 9 out of 10.
Did my teammate just call their sniper fucking trash? What the
Onto the other new content, the co-op is honestly pretty fun too. It's not a must play, but if you're looking to do something after playing campaign or you just got done grinding Orion, I highly recommend jumping into it just to give it a try. It actually does feel a lot like multiplayer missions with friends, and not some afterthought like 2019's excuse for Spec Ops. It's very engaging but can be a little bit of a drag after a while, but has a good flow with the right people. I'd really like to see some survival like Modern Warfare 3 added later, as it's really the only thing that can go toe-to-toe with a juggernaut like zombies as a third mode. Well, maybe not all zombies. It's pretty chill, but don't look for more than the minimum. 5 out of 10. Lastly is the campaign, which is the best fucking campaign since the first game, with new innovations on every mission, making it a unique experience on every turn. Oh yeah, and I'm gonna spoil stuff, so you should skip to this point in the video, but my final word to you is that you should play it. No, seriously, play it. Even if you don't play campaigns, play this one. Please. Alright, okay, we good? We gone? 3, 2, 1, here we go, spoiler time. The game is obviously more of a setup than the first one, and by that logic, Modern Warfare 3 campaign is going to be an absolute banger. And, you know, in my opinion, will be very hard to top the original Modern Warfare 3. But we've got Valeria, Shepard, and right at the end, we've got Makarov to set up to die another day. And, you know, Ghost 2, I suppose. I can understand why, but Captain Price is basically sidelined so Soap and Ghost can go through the motions. I really like that, though. We spent the entire first game with Price and Gaz. It would only make sense that we follow the other 141 operators that we didn't get to see. And see them we do, honestly, with so much around them as far as character building. In fact, my favorite part of the campaign was just making the interactions between the members. Like the part in the Gillied Up mission, and especially in Alone, where you can tell Ghost was trying to keep Soap alive by talking with him.
Why Bill your head? English, McTavish. Sorry, sir. Let me translate. Go fuck yourself.
The interactions are so good, in fact, that I really wish there were more missions that had all members of 141 together and interacting. You know, because we don't really see that. We get bits and pieces here and there, yeah, but not really. And gameplay-wise has some very diverse set pieces. The already mentioned Gillied Up mission is really fun to just sit and pick people off from a distance, even if it gets dragged down in certain areas. Alone is a fantastic mission, and honestly my favorite, as you need to craft items, craft items in Call of Duty in order to progress. Which is just so cool, along with the cool setting and twist leading up to it. The interrogation mission was cool, the AC-130 was great, the Amsterdam mission was breathtaking, the vehicle mission was good for like 5 minutes, and then it turned bad for 15 minutes, or hours. I can't really remember, honestly. Overall gameplay was great. The story was good too. If you honestly didn't see that General Shepard was a twist villain, again, then boy, I've got some blinker fluid to sell you. I love Graves as a character, but he goes out like a little bitch in the most anticlimactic way of all time, in what I consider to be the actual worst mission. Which, mind you, isn't really that bad. That's just how good this campaign is. The whole missile plot is pretty wrung dry, and the first half of the campaign is literally just chasing a guy, catching him, and then letting him go. Like, why the fuck do you put all the manpower into capturing him if you're just gonna bring him back? Is it because you don't want to kill Shepard in this game, but the next? So you needed an extra villain for the plot to continue?
Then check this out.
Because that would make sense and honestly be fucking hilariously stupid at the same time. But overall, this campaign is really good, you guys. Best one in a while, to be honest. And I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. It deserves it. No game is without its flaws, and Modern Warfare 2 definitely has them. But the strengths of this game are way too cool and fun to harp over some tiny flaws. Okay, some big flaws too, but it's really nice to see a COD game come out with character and vision. And Modern Warfare 2 is a fantastic change of pace from the last few entries. It continues fairly well from the first game, and it brings some great new innovations with it. So is Modern Warfare 2 bad? No, it's not. It's an 8 out of 10. You should definitely go play it. Do it right now. Go. Hey, so that's the end of the video. I've spent like 24 hours awake trying to make this video as great as possible, as soon as possible, to get this review out early. So if you really want to help me out, please click the subscribe button and leave a like. I know a ton of people ask you to do that, but trust me, it really does help me out. It helps me get started in the algorithm. It's just really good. Please do it. It's completely free, and it helps me out a ton. I know you don't like videos that you actually like, because I've done it too. I know you do that. Don't do that. If you like this video, please leave a like, okay? But that's really about it. Play Modern Warfare 2. It's a great game. It's a great game. Just play, okay? I'll see you later. Peace.